Hey everyone, welcome back to a second stimulus check update. And today we have a shocking report, and that is the jobs report. It is way different than what they thought it was going to be, and find out what it means as far as a second round of stimulus. Here we go. Hey everyone, welcome back to another stimulus update. I'm Logan.
Hey, I'm Edin.
And we just had the jobs report for May come out, and this is a huge aspect of this second round of stimulus package, because this is what the Republicans and Democrats are waiting on to see. How is the country reopening? Because that is really what the Republicans have been waiting on before the release of the second stimulus package. So, Edin, what does this jobs report say?
Yeah, so this was a very surprising jobs report. You and I talked a little bit before starting to record. And the headline number that everybody's been looking for is the unemployment rate. And everybody's been expecting unemployment rate to be around 20%. Earlier in the month, people were expecting it to even be in the mid-20s. And it turns out that the unemployment rate is 13.3% for the month of May. And the reason it's so surprising is, again, one, it's so far below expectations of 19.5%, 20%, 24%. But even more important in terms of potential stimulus is the fact that it's less than what the unemployment rate was in April, which was 14.5%.
So effectively, this shows a decline in unemployment. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
What makes up that? Like, why? Is it just because the states are reopening? I mean, is there any indication on why we're at 13% versus the 20% that everybody expected?
Absolutely. So skimming through the actual report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, what seems to be happening is that the majority of the people that have been unemployed in the last 2 to 3 months are temporarily laid off. So if you think about people who lost their jobs in retail, people who have lost their jobs in restaurants, some people who have lost their jobs in government and so forth, because as you know, most buildings have been shut down, they went on unemployment, and especially with the extra $600 a week, it made a lot of sense. However, as economies are reopening and most retail stores are now back to being open, those people are getting pulled back into their jobs and are dropping out of being unemployed. And we're seeing the same with restaurants. Most restaurants are at some capacity open, so they're bringing people back, which is causing this number of temporary unemployed people to now also go back to the workforce. And you always also have some people who just drop out of the labor force, which means they're not even looking for a job anymore.
So what does this all mean for a second round of stimulus? Because the Republicans have always said, wait and see. We had the first round, we passed it super fast. In the second round, we want to see what's really going on. And the Democrats have been saying we need a second round because there's so many people unemployed that's been a big sticking point, because we still have this $600 a week in federal unemployment assistance that expires July 31. And Republicans have always said, especially Mitch McConnell has said, no way, absolutely not. We are not extending this past that date. And then recently, like as in yesterday and the day before, the Republicans are starting to switch and say, well, actually, we may need this. Like we understand that if we cut this off cold turkey, we're in trouble. We don't want to continue with the $600 per week, but maybe, a few hundred, or even just kind of ease it off state by state. So what does this really mean for a second round of stimulus moving forward now that the jobs report shows there's actually a decline in unemployment?
Yeah, so what it really means is, one, Republicans are going to hold true to what they said in terms of wait and hold, wait and see. They're going to want to see what happens through the rest of June, probably going to wait until they get the June unemployment rate before they make any decisions. What it also means is it is very unlikely that they're going to do another round of $1,200 stimulus checks, because what they're going to say is, look, 70% of those who are unemployed are temporarily unemployed, and we need to reopen the economy. They'll go back to working, problem goes away, right? So that's going to be their attitude with that. And then the biggest piece that's going to potentially, if we do get another stimulus package, this is going to be the key for them to come to an agreement, Democrats and Republicans, is that unemployment benefit. And we've gotten a number of proposals. Senator Portman's is probably the most favorable right now, which is, he said, how about we offer people in those low wage industries, retail, restaurants, and so forth, a $450 a week incentive to go back to work, and then kind of give them that for 12 weeks after they go back to work, and then basically they go back to what they were making before, because hopefully in 12 weeks we're back to being fully open.
So there's also some, like with the Republicans, it almost seemed like they were trying to, almost like going to combine what Senator Portman was saying with what, the unemployment currently is, where you go back to work, you get $450 a week. If you stay on unemployment, maybe you get $300. So it almost incentivizes you to go back even more. So is that still a possibility here, or do you really, does it really seem like it's just going to be an incentive to go back to work and that's it?
It's going to depend on how much back and forth there is. And again, this whole wait and see situation is going to give them ammunition on either side to say, okay, this is what we really need and want, and for them to come to the table. So, the possibilities are endless, as we've seen with the ridiculous amount of proposals. Yeah. What I think is going to happen is it's either going to be another one that I've seen is essentially that they're going to true up your pay to what you made before. So it's not to the point that you make more, but if your hours are reduced, they're going to make you whole for the rest of it, so that you make the same amount as you made before if you worked regular hours. So that's one proposal out there. The $450 a week is another one. And then there's another one that's kind of gaining steam, which is a sliding scale tied to your state's unemployment rate. So as the picture in your state gets better, your additional benefits are going to decrease as you're going back to work. So it's more of a transitional benefit rather than all or nothing like it is right now.
So let me throw something at you. So let's consider these industries that the jobs are effectively, the businesses are gone, right? I read an article yesterday. It was actually really good. It talked about different industries that are going to be hurting after this. Like you get the movie theaters, the bowling alleys, department stores, all the things that were already having a tough time before everything went off. And then now, I can't imagine there's too many businesses out there that, they're trying to hire new people. They're probably just trying to rehire those that they already had because it's a safer bet. But all those people that are now having to find new jobs because their current jobs are just no longer there, they also then get cut off. So is there any way to navigate those waters, or is that just going to be one of those circumstances where the government's going to say, you know what, we're really sorry that you chose to be, to go work at a movie theater, but that's on you, figure it out?
I wouldn't be surprised if they do that, because that is the way the traditional unemployment system has always worked, right? So we've gone through different cycles in the economy. Think about manufacturing, think about the dot-com bubble, think about the financial crisis 12 years ago, and never before have they come in and said, well, we feel bad for you because you were in the wrong industry. No, they give you 6 months of unemployment, whatever your state does, and it's up to you to figure out how to transition your skills to a different industry. Now, again, being an election year and everything that's going on, I would not be surprised if they do some sort of incentive on top of your state unemployment. Again, and I think the way it's going to work is it's going to make you whole in terms of what you used to make at your job. So let's say if you worked at a movie theater, you made, let's say, $10 an hour. That means you made about, if you worked 40 hours, you made $400 a week. Let's say your state unemployment benefits are now $150 a week. The feds would kick in an extra $250 to make you whole for some period of time, to give you time to figure out how to go from working at a movie theater to another job, being able to use your skills.
And I'm glad you brought up the fact that it is an election year, because that's kind of like the notion that's been going around of this is why a lot of the Republicans are starting to switch their mindset on this second round of stimulus checks, because the state of the U.S. right now is, I don't think it's ever been like this, where you combine a pandemic with an entire corrupt system all coming to light at the same time during an election year. And the last thing that Republicans want to do is to lose control of the Senate and the actual White House. So it seems like they're going to start to make some concessions to try to effectively say, look, like, let's ease it a little bit because we want to remain in power after November. But, I'm curious to see which direction they go with the unemployment numbers looking so strong. If they say, you know what, screw it, we're good, we're going to make it all happen, no unemployment, or if they're going to continue to go down that path of helping people out that need it to try to boost their numbers a little bit in November.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I think that is unfortunately, it's probably the key decision-making mechanism right now going on in their heads is, how does my state look? How do my constituents feel about what's going on and what I'm doing? And based off of that, they're going to make individual decisions, which, that's politics. It just sucks because it puts a lot of people at risk of losing a lot. And so hopefully they'll be able to come to the table and have some sort of relief. But it doesn't seem, especially with this number today, it does not seem like $600 a week is going to continue. I highly doubt that any sort of additional $1,200 check is going to be going out. It's one of those things right now where everybody needs to figure out also their personal situations and how to make those adjustments to figure out, if you're working on a movie theater and you got to worry about them reopening, figure out where you could go to get another job after July if they don't do anything.
Yeah, because they were already saying we're definitely not doing 600. I think it was Mitch McConnell that came out over a month ago that thought it was going to be 23, 24%, and then June was going to be a little bit worse. And then they came out, a couple days ago and said it's going to be at 20%, and they were no way 600 a week unemployment at 20%, and now that it's less than what it was, like, this is truly shocking. So, it's new. We'll see what happens. But just kind of recap everything is we have this jobs report or unemployment or jobs report come out, it's less than what it was in April. So we'll really see what both sides now push for, since the situation is way better as far as the number of people on unemployment. Still got a ton of ways to go, I would say, as far as making everything right, getting everything back to normal. And hopefully there is a new normal after all of this is said and done. So, Dean, are we missing anything on the jobs reports and what this means for the next few months for everybody?
No, I think unfortunately this creates even more uncertainty than clarity, because it seems like now the can's going to get kicked down even further. They're going to wait for June data. We're going to be in July. They're going to say, well, let's wait for July data. And you're going to potentially see them not do anything until mid to late summer and then do something retroactively. But of course, that's going to leave a big gap in between in terms of help for people.
Yeah. So everybody, do us a favor. Let us know in the comments, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think that they're going to, yes, pass the second round, or no, this statistics is enough with the jobs reports that is going to stop them? So let us know below. We read all the comments. And as always, if you want to make sure that you're staying up to date with this and you want to know what the reactions are going to be, because we'll cover those too from both sides of the aisle, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you very much.